My soul is dark and edgy, just like this game. Just like Sephiroth. Sephiroth? Whatever. Who cares? This is Dark Souls. And I just pulled my microphone off my face. Let's go. That's me. Or you can call me Alex, it's all good. So, obviously the first thing you're going to do is pick a class. But it doesn't really matter that much which one you do. There's no real big difference between them once you get past the first 5 levels or so. Unless you pick this guy, who is clearly the strongest, which is why we're not going to pick him. Sure, let's go with the warrior. You can never go wrong with the warrior. Gifts. It's worth noting that you can get all of these in-game via other means. So we'll be a scrub and take the master key. Physique. Manly McBuff face, but sure, let's go with slim, so we have the least amount of clipping issues. Face. Oh my. No. Of course. Actually, you know, this looks a bit like Frollo, and I hate Swedish people. What? Sure, that'll do. And here we go. I think. Sure, let's go.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog.
Those are the arch trees.
A land of grey crags, arch trees,
See?
and everlasting dragons.
I'm a genius.
But then there was fire. And with fire,
And presumably,
came disparity,
before fire, nothing lived and nothing
Heat.
died.
and cold,
The trees were not
light,
a natural thing, I'm guessing.
death,
They were more like stone,
Of course.
like the dragons.
light, and dark.
That doesn't really make sense, does it? No? Never mind.
Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito,
Neat.
the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pagan.
So, for some
So
reason they wage
easily
war
forgotten.
against the dragons, but we're not sure exactly why. One can speculate, however.
With the strength of lords, they challenge the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skins.
Gwyn zapped their ass with lightning
Witch
bolts,
weaved great firestorms.
and the witches blew them up with fireballs.
Nito unleashed a
And
miasma of
Leto blows up what looks like a tree. Or I suppose it could have been a dragon's tail.
The scales betrayed his own.
What a
The
douchebag.
dragons were no more.
We'll be seeing more of those trees later.
Thus began the Age of Fire.
And the bosses, I guess, but frankly I'm more interested in the trees.
But soon the flames will fade.
And where could that place have
Only
been?
dark will remain.
Astora, maybe? Who knows?
Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
Which brands the undead?
Yes, indeed. The dark side brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Not for long, one can hope. Or this is going to be a short playthrough. Oh hey, it's Dark Souls. And here we go. So, I'll be saying a lot of obvious things, but I will operate under the assumption that anyone watching this knows absolutely nothing about Dark Souls. And of course, I will obviously say things that are not obvious and that only someone who's played 500 hours would know. It's all good. You know, I'm playing this on PC for the first time, and I've never actually noticed these cockroaches or gross little insect things. So, our character, Silvermont. Wait, did I spell his name wrong? Yes, I did. That's very embarrassing. But we shall keep it as such, and we shall be Silvermont. Oh dear. So, Siver has been locked away because he can't spell properly, and he's also undead, which means he looks like a sausage. No, people get branded undead, and they get locked away, simple as that. Only somebody let us out, or gave us a key so we could let ourselves out. And now Siver is free from his cell. So, these things on the ground, they're messages, mostly left by other players, but these starting ones are left by the developers to tell you right stick controls the camera. Although this is the PC version, so technically it should be controlling the mouse. But it it doesn't. Wrecked hard. So these little sausage hobbit guys are like us, only they've completely lost their sanity perhaps, or their will to live, who knows. So presumably they still have some will to live, just no real sentience, as they will attack you. Not these guys, but most of them will attack you. And this area is the Undead Asylum, which is another word for prison, in this sense anyway, not typically. It's perhaps the first sign of this game's sense of humour, which is rather dark, strange and morbid. And here's a bonfire. These act as your save points and your checkpoints, your hubs and your lifelines. Every time that you rest at one, you regenerate all your health, all your spells, and so forth. But it also respawns most enemies, not boss enemies, and some normal enemies don't respawn, but well. So, without saying a word, Oscar gave us a key, and we find ourselves here, without any weapons, other than that broken one I threw away, out of habit. But we do have some armor, and a few items. Now let's take off our gloves. And we can roll. Excellent. And up there we can see a friend. Granted, he doesn't look all that friendly. But he's, I suppose, the first boss of the game. Now, what is one meant to do here? Other than get smashed in the face. And have some frame rate lag. Nice. My PC isn't amazing, but whatever. Now, as you can see, we're not doing any damage to this guy. But it is possible to kill him if you are patient enough. Which I'm not. But obviously you're not meant to fight him here, so let's roll away. Yeah, that'll teach him to hit me, I guess. And here we have another bonfire. So, you can actually kill that guy then, if you want. And you will be rewarded if you do, with a weapon. And at this point I have to point out that I am using a really bad controller, which is like the equivalent of a Mad Catz GameCube MLG HD Extreme Legends remix. It basically sucks. So I'm gonna press the wrong buttons on the shoulders a lot. But as you see, we now have a weapon and a shield. in a lot of games, shields are not generally that important, and you can just flail around like crazy. But although Dark Souls isn't exactly realistic, I do think they try to emulate a semi-realistic form of, well, combat. Oh no, we can't get that. And is there anything over here? Oh no. I thought perhaps there might be on the, like, 8,000th time I've been through here. And if you're wondering why I'm exposing that skinny sausage body, it's because I like to roll fast. If you'll notice, if I put on all of my armor, that will change his equip load, and the higher it is, the slower you move. This is called a mid-roll, and this is also a mid-roll. And this is a fast roll, or a light roll, whatever you want to call it. There's also a fat roll, and if you're super overburdened, you simply cannot roll at all, I think. I never noticed that you can see the item through the wall there. That's a nice touch. It lets you know that obviously there is a way to get from the other side, but we can't get there yet. It would have been a bit embarrassing for the developers if I managed to jump up there. So we have our heater shield and our longsword. It's, you know, it's a generic looking weapon, but it's actually one of the more versatile. It's fast, it has decent range, and it has a very good thrust attack. So obviously if you're in a confined quarters, you don't want to be banging off the wall like a... you know, I don't actually know. You don't want to be banging off the wall like a retard though. And then you have some nice sweeps and vertical attacks. And what's the game say about it? Widely used standard straight sword, only matched in ubiquity by the short sword. An accessible sword which inflicts consistent regular damage and high slash damage, making it applicable to a variety of situations, and that it is. You see here the param bonus. This basically means the attack values are boosted by your attributes. So this one in particular, it has a C scaling with strength and dexterity. And C might not seem that good. You might think, oh, I'd rather have something with like an A in strength or an A in dex. Which is obviously good if you're focusing, but if you're raising both strength and dex, C in both might end up being better. Or it might not. Physics. Oh. And here's Oscar of Astora. Now the first time I played this, I had assumed this Gantz ball smashed him and like broke his ribs, but that was a pretty stupid assumption to make when you look at where he is compared to the hole. But the light shining down on him, as I pronounced that very strangely, the light shining down on him suggests that he fell through the roof, or perhaps he was smashed through the roof whilst walking about up there by the same demon that jumped down at us earlier, who was also up on the roof. Why he was up on the roof I have no idea, but perhaps to try and drop us all keys. And let's see what he has to say.
Oh, you. You're no hollow.
Look like
Thank
one.
goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon. then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I were both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Okay, Oscar.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit.
I can
There's
try.
an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the Undead Asylum, maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite.
Thanks, bro.
Oh, and this.
Aha.
Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
So, he says he would hate to harm us after death. I've never been entirely sure if he is currently a human and about to turn undead, or if he's already undead and merely about to hollow. Now, what turns people hollow is not... well, there are no confirmed sort of reasons why, but common reasons seem to be dying a lot and sort of losing your will to live. And perhaps he has died many times and he feels like this will be his final death. He can feel his sanity slipping, so to speak. But he's helped us out and he's told us that if we head to a place called Lordran and ring some bells, we may find some answers. Now you could kill him if you're a douche, but we're not going to kill him.
Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death, and thank you.
Okay, goodbye, Oscar. Just checking on you, man. And you'll notice we got souls from his death. That is probably just a gameplay thing, you know? Or maybe it's because our character is special and absorbs stuff. So he gave us Estus flask, which is basically... the flask is actually green, you'll see. It's an emerald flask, and every time you rest at the bonfire, you fill it up with Estus. Now, I believe Estus is a Latin term of some description that means fire. So, it seems that you are basically taking liquid fire from the bonfires, and fire is a life source in Dark Souls. It is the life force, basically. Basically, it's your magic potion to heal yourself with. Hello. And there we have a parry, which is that, and a riposte, which was the critical attack following up. It's, I would say it's an advanced technique, but, well, if I can do it, it's not really advanced, you know? That said, I can't do it most of the time. Now, Dark Souls enemies operate on both audio and visual. They will attack if they see you, or if they hear you. Although being sausage hobbits, they're not really very hard. Oh, and there's some sort of weird Windows Live thing. As you can see, this guy looks a little bit more, well, he's a higher level sausage hobbit. He can drop several items. It is feasible that you could farm him and these other little hobbits if you wanted, well, souls, or... I know the bow one can drop his short bow. So, if you press your weak attack, or your fast attack, whichever you prefer, whilst falling, you'll do a plunging attack. Now, why would we need to know that? Because of this. Alternatively, instead of just dropping, you could do that. Then that was a jumping forwards attack. Wait, a jumping... what the hell am I talking about? A jumping strong attack. That and forwards at the same time does that, which counts as a jump. So, it seems to be many people's opinion, or no, not opinion, assumption, when they fight this guy, they don't assume that they can block this huge hammer the size of the universe, which is, to be fair, quite a logical assumption to make. But you can block it as long as you have the stability high enough on your shield. Although better than blocking is rolling. If you can actually roll and not get hit. It occurs to me that I'm very bad at playing and talking at the same time, as I've never done it before. Oh no, he's going to kill me. Man. And he dropped us the big pilgrim's key. Let's... This chosen undead knows not what this pilgrimage has in store. Now, it says, this chosen undead. Does that mean everyone who escapes and manages to kill the asylum demon is a chosen undead? Or is Civmod special? Well, clearly he is special. In a... yeah, that kind of way. Plus, he can open these pretty huge doors with his tiny sausage arms. Good job, go straight ahead. Oh no. I had no idea that would happen. This game's so hard. And I'm totally not poking fun at that one person who couldn't figure out to go straight ahead. I mean, really, people unfairly say this game is badly designed and stupidly difficult, but, you know, if you have eyeballs and ears and you use them, it ain't hard. Dark Souls is the sort of game where you need to open your ears and close your mouth, I say.
You, give me warm, give me soft.
So, apparently the eggs are talking to us, but we'll discuss that later. So here we are outside the asylum in the north. But where on earth are we meant to go? One thing this game does really well is a sense of verticality. assuming that is a word, and I didn't just make it up. Let's put on our cutscene gear with our foppish hair.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the Undead Asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
And here we are, in Lordran. Not Lordaeron. Achievement unlocked. Huh? Now, what? Okay. I'm pretty sure I got at least this far when I was testing stuff. Whatever. So... well... let's take a quick break as I check this recording actually worked, and then we'll continue. In Civmont, the illiterate undead